Hi all. Right, welcome back to more Labyrinth. Yeah, that's it. Playing the extended campaign solo. This is part 31. And I did come straight back there. That's why the camera was focused in on here. Because, yeah, it's Jihadist play next. And we just got a wonderful die roll of a 6. So shifting Somalia from neutral to ally. I'm just hoping and praying that it's not going to be in vain, because they could, in this turn, recruit 2 cells in there, and then with their second card, carry out a major jihad. They've got a Baziz regime there, and it would just be such a kick in the face, like, but it could well happen. Let's try and, hopefully they can just have a nice couple of quiet cards and, you know, just maybe put a reaction marker somewhere and, you know, some event that's not too brutal. Okay, here we go. Oh my. No. I don't want an election. Oh, God. Right, well, there's clearly an election card in this deck as well. I thought there would be. Oh, man. So, what is it? It's posture we roll. Yeah, we've got the world cards. It's right in the middle. So, in actual fact, it doesn't matter what we end up. We're actually going to get a +1 to our prestige, aren't we? Yeah, so we might be hard, we might be soft. Do we care? I don't know. Actually, if we were soft, we get to withdraw our troops. So maybe. Right, okay, so card 240 now. The last time we done this, they play the event first, don't they? So card 240. Use for ops, but execute event first. Do not collect reserves. Yeah, they don't get. Well, they're maxed out on reserves anyway. The annoying thing is they're going to use 3 ops, 2 of which are probably going to be to try and recruit the 2 cells, and then the last one's going to radicalize to do something else, probably to mess with our global war on terror relations. Well, that depends if we're hard or soft, doesn't it? So it's going to either be that or a plot somewhere. I think that's what I think happens. Okay, so it's an automatic event. US election. Well, we've read this before as well. Do we need to? Okay, that's quite quick anyway. So yes, election. US has only had 1 president during the period covered by this expansion, but there remained the possibility that a different path could have been followed halfway through. Alright, I never thought about the fact that these might have changed a little bit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough, and you've got to think that there's going to be new presidents and whatever, so, yeah, okay, well, we've read it now. So, yeah, and it's not that the bot's playing this, but it's got to trigger. The event has to trigger anyway, so, as we know. And, yeah, it does it first, doesn't it? Use for ops, but execute an event first. Yeah, so it's going to use it for 3 ops, but this event's going to trigger. So, we have to roll for US posture. Then, if the global war terror penalty is 0, which it will be, because we're either going to be this side of the track or that side, and that's still going to be the same. So it's going to be 0. We're going to get +1 prestige, so that's a good thing. And I don't think it really matters here. So maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought this. I guess the fact they're getting 3 ops is a bit scary, that's all. Right, let's roll, and remember, we're rolling for US posture here. So there's a +1 to this, isn't there? +1 to the die roll, so 1 to 4 they'll be soft, 5 to 6 they'll be hard, but there's a +1, so it's a 50-50 here. Here we go. Right, 2 plus 1's 3. So 1 to 4, they're going soft. I've still not really thought through if that's better or worse for us. I mean, it means we can't consider regime change, which we might need to again. But the problem is you've got these troops everywhere, and you need to get them out of there. I mean, that is a way now. I mean, it's not ideal, but getting these troops out of here. Yeah, because at the moment, while these are regime change, I've got to leave 5 troops in there. But with the withdraw operation, I mean, it leaves a Baziz regime behind. Remove troops from regime change. US must be soft, use 3 ops. Deploy a number of troops out of the target country. Remove all aid markers. Place Baziz regime markers. You roll prestige as well. Well, I'll tell you what. Why not? Right, I might be considering that then. Well, we'll see what else is on board here. Right, well, there is no... The global war on terror penalty is 0. So we will get +1. And then if it wasn't 0, we'd get -1. So... yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there's only a penalty if we're on the opposite to, like, if they're in there, or if we were in there and there and there, isn't it? Yeah, but we're soft. I'm going to put that back like that, just so. Right, so we get +1 prestige. Well, that was good then. And we went soft. I think it might be better. I don't know. Right, Bot's going to use 3 ops now. And remember, it doesn't get them for reserves, although he's got 2 reserves anyway, so. Okay, so 2 cells on the track. Yeah, again, we shouldn't really need to go through this. We've got 1 extra cell down in Somalia with the last operation. I mean, nothing else has changed. There's a reaction marker in Syria, but now hang on. We moved alignment, didn't we? That doesn't do anything, does it? I already read that. But that's just removing awakening markers anyway. Shifts in alignment do not remove awakening/reaction markers. You remove them all if it becomes good or Islamist rule or civil war. Yeah, okay. Right, so this should come down to the same thing and recruit attempt at the 2 cells. So playable non-use event. Well, it was playable, but no, we treat it as unplayable, and it has to play because it's an automatic event. So they use the 3 ops. So no, yes, no, yes, recruit, Purnam, and then priority 3, Baziz regime, Somalia. Hey, no, there's less cells than the die roll. Okay. So, yeah, so there's only 2 cells in the track, so it's going to roll 2 dice, and it's going to keep 1 ops over. I'll put it on the card, and they'll carry out radicalization with that attempt. With that op, sorry. Right. I really do not want them to get 2 results here. So 1 to 3 we don't want to see. High numbers, please. Oh man. That's going to spoil that. That 6 rolls going to just get wasted, isn't it? Right, so 2 cells. That's the last 2. But that now gives them the 5 that they need. I'm going to really have to hope that this is an event, a playable event. Right, okay. Right, they've still got 1 ops left to do radicalization. I wonder if I can do it with this. If sells in US, no. If US hard, no, we've just went soft. Yeah. If US soft, then no global war on terror relations penalty. Plot and soft non-Muslim. So that's what it's going to do. Plot and soft non-Muslim. Plot and soft non-Muslim countries. Right. I had to go to that again. Well, it's just a plot. It's a plot operation, Grant. So I've got one ops. Well, actually, I might not be able to. It needs a cell, doesn't it? You need a cell to plot. Non-Islamic rule countries with cells, and that's one a non-Muslim one. Well, there won't be. There's not a non-Muslim country with a cell. The only place with cells is these three countries here, aren't there? Remember, there's 15 cells in total. 7, 12, 15. Yeah, so that's actually not what we're going to do with the radicalisation. So what's next? Recruiting a Muslim country with cadre. Well, there is actually a cadre there. There's 2 cadres, I think. However, there's no cells on the track. So... Yeah, I'm just thinking back about these being auto-recruit countries and thinking, why have we never came to this? It's because we can't get past this to do the, they're more interested in this, clearly. Right, after the cadres, recruiting a Muslim country with cadre, adding in remaining ops to jihadist reserves, well, that's at 2, so that's maxed. So if reserves are full and ops remain, recruit, I can't. Then travel to the US. Do not use reserves. Well, it couldn't use reserves anyway. It's using up 3 ops. So it's going to attempt to travel to the US. Okay, so that's a die roll of a 1. It's going to need. Where's it going to travel from? Somalia? No. I don't think so, Grant. Right, well, we know it's traveling to, so travel from... We need to come here first. So travel from adjacent. There's no cells adjacent to the US. Travel from an auto-recruit country. That's going to be Pakistan, yeah? Yes, indeed. And remember, and I'll use one of the active cells. I mean, most of them are active. So, yeah, auto-recruit country. Yeah, we don't need to look any further. So it's going to attempt to travel one of these cells with this last ops. And to the US, and let's hope it doesn't roll a 1. Yeah, here we go. A 5. Okay, so travel fields goes back to the track, I think. Where are we? Well, each failure remove a cell at the funded track. Yeah, so attempted to travel with this active cell. That's failed, and it goes back to the track. Right, we need to get lucky here. Again, we seem to be looking for luck all over the place. That was just the first card, wasn't it? Yes, indeed. Okay, so, I was just about to say, if we draw 1 ops card, but then there's 2 reserves, so... And if it's a 2 ops card, they're going to use one of the reserves, so... if they're not drawing an event here, it's definitely going to be a busy major jihad attempt in Somalia. Okay, so I want to see a playable event, please. Here we go. It's 1 ops. It's unassociated. I'm hoping it's playable. Friday of Anger, place 1 awaken and 1 reaction marker in any country which already has the opposite kind of marker. Oh, we're getting away with it. That's playable. I'm so glad that I was considering playing this bloody Thursday because I thought I'm not going to be able to avoid that, which would have removed that awakening mark. Oh, mind you, there's a reaction marker in play now as well, isn't there? Okay, so 206, just checking that, nothing there. So, any country which only has the opposite kind of marker. Well, no, yeah. That would have. If we had removed that awakening marker, this wouldn't have been playable, I don't think. Because the only option would be for it to play an awakening marker beside that reaction marker, and it wouldn't have done that. Okay, that's fortunate then. I mean, I just briefly thought about playing that bloody Thursday because it was one ops, and I thought I could put that in my reserves. I think it was. No, the other thing was use it on one of the countries, one of the good countries, to try and do a posture change. Yeah, so we're okay. So that's playable. Unassociated event. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. What is it? Card 206. I should probably just keep this open, Grant. So, rather than keep opening it. 206. Here we go. There's not an awful lot in these anyway. Well, there are some, I suppose. Right, Friday of Anger. The Muslim holiday provided an easy, recurring opportunity to gather supporters among those who had gathered to worship. Okay, so let's just double check. Friday of Anger, Muslim holiday demonstration. Place one awakening or one reaction marker. Right, it doesn't want to place an awakening marker, so it's want to place a reaction marker in any country which already has the opposite kind of marker. Well, it's simple. There's only one awakening marker in Algeria, Tunisia. So it's going to place a reaction marker in there. And that'll be that. I mean, that's just balancing the two off each other. How nice was that? That's what I was looking for, just a nice gentle event. Okay, good stuff. Right, you sure you're okay with that, Grant? Yeah, seems fine to me. So these were both played. These just both get discarded, yeah. They were both played for event, actually. Right, they've got 3 cards left, and we've got 3 as well. But they started mine, so okay, so there's our 3 cards. Now it's going to get messy now, isn't it? Still no sell in Iran, but yeah, I mean, oh no. I have no reserves. Well, yeah, all you can do is put troops on, Grant. I'm going to have to play this anyway. I don't want to play that US atrocities. Play of troops in a civil war or regime change country. Well, there is 2 of them. Shift alignment 1 box towards adversary. To be honest, that's going to be his choice, isn't it? 198. Well, there's nothing. Well, I need to watch there. The cards were a wee bit out of order there somehow. It goes 196, 197, and then it goes 195. They must have maybe missed it out. There's nothing for 198 though. Shift alignment 1 box towards adversary. Select posture for 1 unmarked non-Schengen country, and remember they'll be selecting hard because we are solved, which will give us a penalty, and we're going to get -1 prestige back to 1. Yeah, I don't want to play that card. I'm wondering, because we've got 2 regime change countries. This one's ally and this one's neutral. I'm just not sure how it would decide between the 2. Shift alignment. Yeah, what do you use? Use the jihad column for that, was it? Whenever event instructs shift alignment, jihad sport selects target country using the jihad column. Yeah, just quickly glancing at myself then off camera. It's not a jihad, Pakistan, it's no Arsenal, Bazi's regime. Yeah, that's Bazi's regime. So that's the one that we pick and push it to adversary. So it would leave that one like that. And the fact it's adversary and we've got troops in there, is that not still okay? Well, it's not allowing you to do... It's okay from the point that you can, if they put cells in there, then yeah, you're going to be able to do something about them, I suppose. You don't want to play that card. Okay, so there's one cell on the track. I mean, we only need 2 troops to do the disrupt. If I put 2 troops down here, then they've got 3 more cells than troops. So they've still got 1 to 4 more cells than troops. So come the priorities, they're still going to prioritise this. If I've got 2, then they need another 2 cells in there before they can do Major Jihad. So I'm just wondering, should I put the 3 troops down there maybe? There's no... If I take all my troops off the track, is that bad? Does that something happen? I don't think so. You don't think so, Grant? Yeah, it's just based on the troops marker. It'd still be an overstretch, so I'm still only going to get 7 cards. Obviously, the more troops that you've got up there, the more cards you're going to be drawing, but we're struggling with that. So yeah, it's not a problem, but I don't know if I would want to put 3 down there or not. Look, I think I've got to do this. I mean, you only need 2 troops. That's a Grant. I think I should just put 2 down. Putting 3 down then means they've got to get 3 more cells in there. But it should give me the time to start disrupting, maybe. And then getting my prestige up. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know what? You're going to do it. Whether you're moving 2 troops or 3 troops, Grant, you're going to do it. That withdraw, does that have to go back to the troops track? I think it does, doesn't it? Deploy any number of troops out of target country. Oh, no, it doesn't. Deploy any number of troops out of target country. I'd remove all aid, place Bazi's regime, and I'd roll my prestige, which has just jumped up to 2. Well, if you're going to do that, maybe... Let me see, 7.3.5. Let's just make sure there's nothing in the... More. The rules. Withdraw is a second special type of deploy operation. It requires the US to be at soft posture and to have troops in a regime change country. Play a 3-value card. May include reserves. Deploy any number of troops out of a regime change country, regardless of cells present. Remove any aid. Place a Bazi's regime. Roll prestige. No, the regime change marker remains. No, I don't know. I don't. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe I shouldn't be messing with that. Well, either way, Grant, you've got to get yourself 3 ops. And, right, so I'm going to put... Right, I'm just going to put this into reserves. So 2 ops into reserves. Play if ran as a cell. It does not. So it's not playable. Okay. So we're getting 2 reserves. If I'm a second card play, I'm going to have to play this. Yeah, okay. So I have to play this. which is going to be playable. So I think it's marked as well because it blocks. I don't know what Pearl Roundabout is, but well, I've not really got a choice, so I've got to kind of play it. So what is this card? 164. Where are we? Right, so 164, Bloody Thursday. Yeah. With the support of Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, foreign troops, the Pearl Roundabout in Bahrain is cleared of protesters with tear gas and birdshot. The monument was later destroyed to prevent its future use as a rallying point. Okay. Right, so yeah, we're playing this for the ops, obviously. So Bloody Thursday, night raid clears out protesters. It blocks Pearl Roundabout, so let me find the marker for that. Bloody Thursday. It's there. So that marker's going in play. I'll just put that up in the events and play box. Remove one awakening marker in any country. 164. I think I looked already, did I not? Yeah, there's nothing about it. To be honest, I don't need to go and break it down though anyway. There's only one awakening marker. So, which would have been, if there hadn't been, it would have been unplayable as well. It would have done nothing, so. Now that's not maybe true. Would that have still blocked Pearl Roundabout? I guess it would have, Yeah. So if there hadn't been any awakening markers, it would have still blocked this other event. Pretty sure. It doesn't require anything to make it playable. So yeah, so there's only a one awakening marker in Algeria, Tunisia, so that gets removed. And that's my second card play. Now I'm going to, the event's been played, so now I'm going to use the ops. I've got 3 ops. And I'm going to put some troops in Somalia. It's poor ally. So I'm going to deploy, or I'm going to withdraw. Just thinking about Central Asia. One of the downsides to the withdrawal is it places Baziz regime, but there's already a Baziz regime marker there, so we won't be losing out there. Deploying our troops out of target country, remove all aid markers, place Baziz regime marker, roll prestige. Yeah, and we know that it'll say, and if there's not one there already, yeah, it does, yeah. You can't have more than one. So if I'm going to do it, I'd be better taking it from Central Asia. The regime change marker stays. I don't know. What do you think? My prestige is at 2. It'd be a good time to sort of do a roll in prestige, and if it does knock it back to 1, then I've got plenty of disrupt action to be doing down in Somalia to then boost it up. Of course, I might get lucky. We've not got a penalty, so it is a straight up 5 or 6. We do it. Maybe I should do this. And I was allowed to use reserves for this. It does say that. It says you've got to use 3 ops, but may include reserves. I need to be soft. And I have troops in a regime change country. This feels like a good time to do it. I don't know. Rather than packing the 3 cells on the track. I mean, deploy, it still needs to be going to one location, doesn't it? To the target. The target has to either be an ally Muslim country or the troops track. Let me me just pause and try and think what the downsides to this could be. Right, and then the other thing is, how many do I want to take out? And if I want to get rid of that regime change marker, we know we've got to War of Ideas, the alignment to ally, then improve its governance to fair, then improve its governance to good. I can still do that in that country, as long as it's neutral. That's what I was worried, that US atrocities. If that gets put to adversary, that's a different story. Where am I? I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah. Prove alignment or governance. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Right. Okay, there's the downside. Because it's still regime change, Grant, you need 5 more troops and cells. Yeah, okay. I think I mentioned that already, actually, and realised that. Well, I didn't, I've just realised it in time. So, technically, yeah, it's just the same as deploying the troops. If I do a normal deploy, I can only move one of these cells. If I do a withdraw, I can move... not cells, troops. I can only move one of them if I do a normal deploy out of the country because it's regime change. If I do a withdraw, there's no restriction there. However, if I want to do a War of Ideas in there, I need to have 5 more troops than cells. And there's no cells there, so I need 5 troops. So that's a downside. That's why I shouldn't do it, I think. And don't try and do too many things at once. Right, okay, I'm going to take them off the troops track, and I'm only going to take 2, I think. So, I've got my 3 ops. We're going to do a deploy, action Somalia. Yeah, I didn't do any nonsense there, did I? Yeah, I need to watch it. After messing that up with not selecting my operation. Actually, hang on. Did I do a bit of that again? I sort of did, didn't I? I need to watch that then. Then I think I said I'm going to do a deploy operation. Here's the thing though. Well, I've got your attention, probably. When I say I'm going to do a deploy operation, do I need to... Well, yeah, I was talking about a withdraw operation. That's different from a deploy operation as well, Grant. So, yeah, I will need to be careful. I think I get away with that one because that event... It didn't matter if I played the event before or after my operations here. It was removing that awakening marker no matter what happened. So, hopefully you'll let me away with that one. But I'm going to have to be careful with that. Yeah, that's why I'm glad that you brought that up, John, because I think I could see myself just slipping with that one a bit. Okay, so... So yeah, deploy operation. I'm going to put that on there. A deploy operation, I'm going to deploy just 2 troops from the troops track into Somalia. But yeah, I should have, before that event even occurred, I should have said that I was either doing a withdraw or doing a deploy. Yeah, no, what I was going to get round to saying there was, if I just say I'm doing a deploy operation, is that enough? Or do I need to specify where I'm deploying from and where I'm deploying to and how many troops I'm using before that event? How does it word it in the rules of that? Playing cards for operations, here we are. So... a side can play a card for its operation's value, regardless of the event, right? Fair enough. The player selects a type of operation and uses the value of the card to implement it. Right. So I've selected a deploy operation, but again, right, I was swithering between deploy and withdraw, and they're different operations, so that was wrong. Trigger the other side's event. Play of a card for operations. No, it's this one here, isn't it? The side playing the triggering card chooses whether the event or the operations occur first. Yeah, and then if at the moment that the event is to occur, the event is blocked or has a precondition that is not met, the event does not occur. That's why you can play about it a little bit, which we've done, messing about with things before and then trying to trigger the event and it's not, and it won't trigger. Yeah, so I don't think so. I think I only need to state the operation. I mean, it says select a type of operation and use the value of the card to implement it. But I don't think, what I was going to do was deploy. Where's deploy? Troops to a country, possibility to change the regime. Yeah, and there it's there in more detail. Yeah, it seems fine. Let me know your thoughts there, though, in case I'm missing something regarding that. Do I have to be more specific and lay out my plan on where I'm deploying and how many I'm deploying? Or do I just need to state that I'm going to use these 3 ops? I mean, do I need to say, because sure, if I'm using 3 ops, I need to be deploying to a place that requires 3 ops. Well, not necessarily, Grant. You could use 3 ops to deploy to Afghanistan if you wanted to, which is good. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that though. And it could matter as well. You're going to see how the event plays out. You've maybe set it in stone that you're doing a deploy operation, but then you could maybe change up your thoughts halfway through and not deploy to Somalia and deploy somewhere else, maybe. I don't know. Do I have to sort of say, right, I'm going to deploy from there to there, but I'm going to trigger the event first. I'm going to deploy from the troops track with 2 troops to Somalia, but I don't want to do it until the event goes off. Do I have to sort of spell everything out, Seems not in the way I'm reading it in the rules, but I think all I need to say is I'm doing a deploy. But I mean, it didn't matter here, although, yeah, you definitely can't get away with saying, right, I'm going to either maybe deploy, or I'm going to maybe do a withdraw, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, but I'll play the event first, because that's just cheating again, Grant. Right, fortunately, I think you can see it didn't matter there, but I need to watch. Yeah, right, okay. So is that it? So now they've got 3 more cells than troops. So they still need 2 more. There's only 1 up on the track. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could recruit that. They could travel another 1. And then they're still up for the major jihad. But I'm sort of hopeful that it won't play out like that. But we shall see. Right, this card was marked. I put the event up in the event, but because this was played for event. The other one was not. But it's just marked, so it just goes discard. Doesn't say remove. And I've got this 1 card left, which I'm not going to be playing. Yeah. Right, okay. Let's move on again. See, we might be able to get this turn finished. So we've got 3 cards left. Their first card is Reaper, so a US. Fortunately, only 1 ops. However, they've got 2 reserves. Okay, so that might be interesting because we might see this play that with the messing with reserves that Tim brought to my attention, and it sounded spot on what he was saying about it all. So we've got a 1 ops US now. Just looking again, have things changed? Not really. Well, we've got troops in here now, but they've still got 1 to 4 more cells than troops, and they are in Iraq. and they've still got a Brazil's regime. So there's one cell on the track. They're all the relevant things. So we've got one ops, but 2 reserves. Is it a playable non-use event? No. Is Major Jihad success pure possible? No. 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 Yes. No. Hang on. Right, sorry, I thought that was somebody at the door, but it wasn't. So, what was I saying? Was I looking at the flow chart? Yeah, one ops. Right, sorry. That's yes, there's 2 of them, but there's nothing adjacent still. No. So nothing adjacent is fund and moderate. No. Is there a cell available? There's 1. Oh. Right, so it's going to recruit. And again, we're going to come here. There's 2 options, and Bazzi's regime is going to come before. So Somalia is going to come before Iraq. And the troops doesn't matter there. The question is 1 to 4 more cells and troops. So this has got 3 more cells and troops, and this has got 3 more cells and troops. This has got Bazzi's regime. So yeah, it's going to attempt to recruit with a 1 ops. Okay, so I thought this might introduce the issue that we had with grabbing these reserves. No, that balances out. It's only going to use the 1 ops here. So it's just as well that Tim did come up with this, because me right now had thought that we've got 1 ops here. We're going to use it to recruit. We're going to take these 2 reserves. We've now got 3 ops. We're going to attempt to recruit that. We're then going to use the other 2 ops for radicalisation. That's wrong. He says that's wrong, and I'm totally behind that. Yeah, it states in the rules that you cannot just use reserves for radicalisation, and that's what you're doing in this case. In a sort of roundabout way, but that's what you're doing, isn't it? The only reason we would need to use these reserves, I mean, if there was 2 cells on the track right now, we would do that and attempt to recruit the 2 cells. We wouldn't do that. Put 3 points in the bag, attempt to recruit the 2 cells and radicalisation 1 ops either. And if we had a 3 ops card, if we had 3 cells on the track, we would grab them both and attempt to recruit them all. So all that's going to happen here is we're going to attempt to recruit that cell, and that's that card done. Correct? You're saying correct, aren't you? Yes. Yeah, because it's selected its operation. It can only do that operation, and we've got the recruit to country, Somalia, and unfortunately there's only 1 cell on the track. They've only got 1 ops. That's fine. That's all they're going to do. They can't then use these other ops. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm stalling, but I'm good with it, I think. Okay, so 1 cell attempting to recruit into Somalia, which is poor. So a 1 to 3. Damn it, gets it. Right, so the last cell off the track, down into Somalia as well. I mean, fortunately, there's still 1 off. And if there'd been 2 there, that would have been panic again. But, well, we might see an attempted travel now with this second card, possibly. Because there's now no cells on the track. So, yeah, that's them use the 1 ops. They do have a reserve still. So here we go, second card. Erdogan effect is an unassociated 1 ops card. Play in Turkey or in 1 adjacent non-Schengen country, but not Russia. Ooh, what card's that? 205. Feels like there might be something. Yeah, there is. Okay, so play in Turkey. Where's Turkey? Where are you? The geography is terrible. Right, okay, I found it. It's not tested at all. Or in one adjacent non-Schengen country, but not Russia. Place or remove, not flip, an aid, besiege regime, awakening, reaction, or posture marker, or place or remove up to 2 total militia and or cells. Right, that's quite a mouthful. Right, we need to look at the event table for this. 205 is here. Zoom out a little bit, I think. So, where are we? Erdogan effect. Place cells, then reaction marker using recruit and travel to priorities. So, does that mean it wants to prioritise cells? Now, remember, there's no cells on the track. Place or remove. Aid. Well, they're clearly not going to place aid. They would besiege regime. They're clearly not going to place awakening. They would reaction. Posture marker. Well, there's no mention of a posture marker. That's if it's going to be an adjacent non-Schengen country, but not Russia. Right, the bot's not interested in messing with the posture anyway. Well, where's it? Is it going to play it in Turkey, or is it going to play it in an adjacent non-Schengen country? It doesn't give me that info in the event instruction table here. I don't think. Well, it says you're placing them using the recruit and travel to priorities, Grant. So is that not good enough for you? Yeah, so I think it's going to place a reaction marker using the recruit and travel to priorities, but based on Turkey or an adjacent non-Schengen country which not Russia. Is that right? That sounds right? There's quite a bit involved in that, isn't there? Or place or remove up to total place or remove. Right, yeah, so it wants to prefer cells but can't. So, yeah, it's going to place a reaction marker. That's all it's going to do here. And it's got topped up with reserves anyway, so this is a couple of good... Well, mind you, it did recruit that cell the last time, didn't it? This is good. It's not going to affect Somalia here. Okay, can't you just go? Well, Well, this event is playable, so let's have a look. Okay, so 205 Erdogan effect. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Sorry, probably completely butchered, but has a tough challenge with the largest civil war of the century raging on his borders, NATO commitments to fulfill, a large progressive Muslim population, and Kurdish separatists in the east. His attempts to balance these demands could lead Turkey to take a variety of different courses of action. Right, okay. So, Erdogan effect. Turkish president walks a fine line between East and West. So, we know it's going to place a reaction marker because there's no cells. It would prefer cells, but... Sorry, is it 2 cells? Yeah, 2 total militia and or cells, yeah. So there's no cells. Then reaction marker. Yeah, because that is an or. I'm starting to think that you're getting both here, but you're not, are you? So, from the bot's point of view, it would either place a besiege regime marker, a reaction marker, or 2 cells. And in here, it just says either 2 cells or a reaction marker. Doesn't mention besiege regime. It doesn't mention the posture. Right, so Turkey, yeah, and then via the... recruit and travel to priorities. Right, and there's no word table there, yeah? So we go with that. Yeah. So this was this was clarified, this was cleared up. So it says recruit and travel to priorities. So we do come here first. Now remember, we're looking at Turkey or an adjacent non-Schengen country. Right, well where Turkey's up there. Oh gosh, can Iran be involved here? So Turkey, oh well, Serbia's not Schengen. Russia, it says, it's not. It can't be Russia. Caucasus, yes. Turkey or in one adjacent non-Schengen country. Yeah, well, there's quite a few options, isn't there? Syria. Is Lebanon adjacent to it? No. Lebanon's adjacent to Schengen, and so is Turkey, but they're not adjacent to each other. You can see it's adjacent to Iran here as well. Russia, we're saying it's not allowed to consider. So Caucasus, Syria, Iran, and Serbia, I think. Right, let's see what one's going to come out tops then. Recruit and travel. No, across here, Grant. Recruit and travel to priorities. So is there a poor Muslim with 1 to 4 more cells? No, none of these have cells. I mean, Syria is a poor Muslim. But no, none of them have cells. We're not recruiting. So is there a good Muslim? No, the only good Muslim's Afghanistan. It is not adjacent to Turkey. So no. Is there a fair Muslim? And then with best jihad DRM. No, because Iran's still not considered Muslim, is it? It's only when it flips. So hang on, I'm looking at fair Muslim. And the previous one was good Muslim. We've got Serbia, which is good, but it's not Muslim. Fair Muslim. That's a fair non-Muslim. That's a fair special case, isn't it? It's not. It's still the same, isn't it? I mean, Iran's not changed. If I look at this underneath, it's just the same. Yeah, it's just exactly the same symbols, isn't it? It's only when this map flips that it becomes Muslim. So that's a no as well. We've not got one of them. So then we want to look at non-Muslim, right? So that means Turkey's out. And the non-Muslim options adjacent to Turkey are Caucasus and Serbia. Remember, it's not wanting Schengen either. Non-Schengen. So between Serbia and Caucasus, yeah? And remember, Iran's not classed as non-Muslim as well, remember? Special case. And Russia's not considered here. So Serbia, Caucasus. Right, so we stop at the non-Muslim bit here. And then we go here between Serbia and Caucasus. No. No. Baziz regime, no. Serbia and Caucasus, no, no. No, no. No. Poor then, fair then, good. Yeah, Caucasus. Yeah, I'm going to double check that for sure, because that seemed like an awful hard work, that. So let's just check Caucasus is okay. It's not Turkey, but it is an adjacent non-Schengen country to Turkey. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. What is it, a reaction marker? Now, hold on. We can't put reaction markers in non-Muslim countries, Grant. Did we not just read that? I mean, yeah, we could have put a cell here, but yeah, we just read that, didn't we? Somewhere. changes. Awakening reaction markers may not be placed in a non-Muslim country. Okay, back to the drawing board then. So if it can't go in a non-Muslim country, we have to move on to poor Muslim with best jihad DRM, don't we? Yeah. So is there a poor Muslim adjacent to Turkey? Syria. It's already got a reaction marker. Iraq. Oh, hold on, stop. Iraq as well. Remember I said that Iraq's adjacent to Turkey, or Turkey's adjacent to Iraq, or whatever you want to call it. So we've come down to poor Muslim. I don't want to go in Iraq. Well, hang on, stop. I said there was no poor Muslim with 1 to 4 more cells. That's clearly a lie. It's cause I missed that branch there. I said I would struggle with that. Turkey is adjacent to Iraq. Iraq is a poor Muslim country with 1 to 4 more cells and troops. Yeah? Yeah. So we'll play in Turkey or in one adjacent non-Schengen country, but not Russia. And then it wanted to put cells in there. There's no cells. So it's going to put a reaction marker in there. Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit brain burning. That was like hurt my head there a bit, I think. I think it's okay. So it was an unassociated event, so technically we would have been following play event, unassociated, add cards value to jihadist reserves, but they're at 2 anyway, so it's not going to get the extra reserve. I think that was okay. I think that was right. It said to do it via the recruit and travel 2 priorities. The first box in the flowchart there is a poor Muslim with 1 to 4 more cells and troops and militia, where jihad success is possible. That is that, and is adjacent to Turkey. So where the card was either want to play in Turkey or in one adjacent non-Schengen country. Right, okay, good. Right, I'm going to take a break just now. These 2 cards were played. Well, this was not for event. This was for event, but they're both just getting discarded. Kind of worrying a bit about that last event, but thinking back to things, has anything changed that we should be checking? Reaction markers going on. Well, I almost wanted to put a reaction marker in a non-Muslim country, so stop myself there. No, I think it's okay. Right, our turn. We're not going to do anything. But he's only got 1 card left, but remember, 1 card left, but they always get to start the turn. That's horrible. Why do I not get to start the turn sometimes? Okay. Well, we are more than likely going to just discard that card. Yeah, well, we are. I would like the 3 ops, because I could then disrupt here, turn 2 of these active, get a boost of my prestige. That probably what I'm going to do the next 2 chances I get, next 2 turns. I'm hoping to going to spend 2 3 ops cards, I think. And then once I get that into mid-jump, possibly have a go at improving the governance. Something like that. But that's a rat got a little bit nastier as well, because with the reaction marker, that's going to help him do the jihad. Okay, 59 minutes there. I'm going to take a short break, but I'm going to come back after that short break and hopefully get another part in today. Okay, cheers.